Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Max Financial Services Limited and Max India Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rajat Mehta, Managing Director, Max India. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning to all people on the call. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. Particularly this quarter, we feel quite buoyant because it's been an excellent quarter for Max India and Antara Senior Care. Before I get into numbers, just to remind you that Antara had taken a bet on the senior care market quite early. In terms of market size, it's a $10 to $12 billion market with value pools around residences for seniors, assisted living, care at home, and medical equipment. And we were quite uniquely placed, given our background in healthcare, infrastructure, hospitality, to bring all the competencies together to build a trusted and loved brand and an integrated ecosystem or platform for seniors. As you know, on the demand side, India is a fast-changing demographic. From 8% of a population being classified as seniors, will quickly move to 20% over the next 2 to 3 decades. Also, in terms of help that seniors require, dementia currently stands at 17%. That's an understated number. Same numbers for cardiac issues among seniors. For seniors who get hospitalized, after hospitalization, about 18% of them require some help or the other at home, and 3 to 5% of all discharges of seniors from the hospitals will require some care, home or assisted living services. So that's on the demand side. So we took a bet on 4 verticals. The first one was residences for seniors, where an early estimate told us there are about 200,000 units for seniors needed in India, and the supply was only 12,500 units. And this number will go up, as we go forward. Over a period of time, many marquee, investors have entered the marketplace. There's increasing participation by real estate players. So some names like, Godrej, for example, Mahindra have started to get interested in this space as well, which is an indication of how exciting the space is. Our first, residences and seniors, which is the Dehradun project, was a pilot. Where we, created the facility, bought the land, did the sales and marketing, and operated the facility as well. After COVID, a solid push, positively has happened on that side. The sales velocity has gone up, our collections have gone up. So that experiment, augured well for us. And the second flagship that we launched in a different format, more affordable prices, has actually done, very, very well. As we speak, in 1.5 to 2 years of launching the project, of the 330 units, about 200 units, is about 60-70% of the inventory has already been sold. And this facility is in Sector 150 of Noida, which is a very marquee sector, it's a sports sector. And many players like ACE, etc., ATS are in that sector. And yet we continue to maintain a very healthy sales velocity. It's a great indication of both our brand as well as the services we provide for seniors. So every year we are able to also increase the price selectively, giving us confidence that this is the way to go on residences. And having done these 2 facilities, now is the time for us to scale up, and therefore we're looking at NCR as well as outside NCR. Since we have learned, from these 2 developments, and now we have the flexibility to figure out which way we'll operate, from design to sales and marketing to operating. That gives us the confidence. So that's the first bet we took on residences for seniors. I'll come to numbers in a minute for each of these. The second bet we took was to create an integrated senior care platform. So seniors needed help in terms of memory care, assistance in daily chores like feeding, bathing, mobility, medication, or needed care at home services or medical equipment to aid the recovery. We looked at 3 verticals. At this point of time, very happy to report that we started building out this vertical way back in last year during COVID times. We have about 300 people now working for this Antara Assisted Care Services vertical. We have served in H1 about 4,500 patients. We have launched about 16 products and services. We in fact have the most comprehensive suite of services for seniors. About 70 beds today between assisted living and memory care. We also launched India's first mobile health checkup van. It's a fully fitted out van with X-ray, TMT, ECG, doctor consult. So senior need not go to the hospital for an executive health checkup. That can be done at the convenience of his or her home. We also launched the memory care offering. On the medical equipment side, we have about 800 products and 3,000 SKUs. Our very robust backend is in place in terms of operations, both clinical and non-clinical logistics. And the validation of that lies both in numbers as well as the customer satisfaction scores that we have been logging. As a result of all this, in the last 2 years, we've also noticed that more and more people are investing in the sector, which is a great vindication of the early bet that we took on, and hopefully the market will expand as well. So in the end, I would say in terms of our vision, we're becoming a loved and trusted brand, catering to lifestyle, wellness and care needs of seniors. So that's as far as our vision, our story and the bet we took goes. Now let me come to numbers as well. If you look at Max India consolidated, we have actually done 2.5 times, the revenue. We are now at 143 crores, for H1. Our EBITDA has turned positive as compared to last year, same time. We are now 7.3 crores positive versus a loss of 10.8 crores. Our capital reduction scheme also is on track. NCLT has already done the hearing, and by February we should get the approval as well. So as we promised, by the end of this financial year, the capital reduction exercise will be complete, on that side as well. On the results for the vertical of Antara Assisted Care, on care homes, a net revenue of 2.2 crores in H1 FY22, which is about 17% compared to last year and a 6% quarter-on-quarter growth. On care at home, net revenue about 6.2 crores, which is again a growth of 5x compared to last year and 25% Q-on-Q. And here we are excluding the COVID services revenue, because in the first quarter of this year we did get a lot of COVID services revenue as well. On medical equipment, which we launched only 3-4 months back, we have done net revenue of 2.2 crores with a positive margin, and that's about 7 times growth of last year and 2.5 times growth on Q-on-Q. So that's the growth on the Antara Assisted Care. On Dehradun, we have sold about 157 units of the 197 inventory that we have. Our sales collection as of September stands at 449 crores. And we had a non-core asset as a land that we had thought we will build more if needed. We have monetized that land with a net profit of 6 crores as well. And therefore, we have been able to, through this, prepay our debt of 22 crores. As we speak today, the debt is about 42 crores, outstanding. The rest has already been prepaid. On Noida, till September, we sold about 196 units with a sales collection of, 50 crores, and the construction work for phase 1 has already started. Right. So those are as far as the numbers, for Max India consolidated, for residences for seniors, for Antara Assisted Care stand. As you can see, a very healthy growth. This sets us up for scale up now, in terms of our vision, which we had said last time, is to look at 35 to 40 care homes, 3 to 5 community residences for seniors, memory care homes, medical equipment business, therefore clocking a revenue of about 500 crores over the next 5 to 6 years. So we are well on track, for playing out that vision as well. So in summary, we are all set now, having taken a very early bet of a senior care sector, which I said is a $10 to $12 billion sector. Therefore, creating an integrated system. We are the only company in India which is creating an integrated platform for seniors. There's nobody else. Everybody else is doing part of the value chain. We're the only ones doing the full value chain because we realize there are tremendous synergies, right? For example, in Dehradun, all the healthcare services will soon be provided by Antara Assisted Care Services. So wherever we set up communities, all the healthcare services will get run, by Antara Assisted Care. And there are sometimes many people who come into our care homes who want a long stay option, beyond 2-3 years, and therefore look at, moving to Dehradun and Noida as well. That synergy will also play out. The synergy in terms of technology, staff, etc., is also part of this game. Therefore, we are quite convinced of the bet that we took to build a loved and trusted brand and integrated, ecosystem for seniors. We remain committed to offer an exit opportunity to shareholders who desire to do so through the capital reduction process. That process, as I said, is on the way and will get complete by the end of this financial year as we had promised. At this point of time, we have adequate liquidity to support our growth aspirations. We have about 391,400 crores approximately as a corpus, out of which about 225 odd is for the Antara Assisted Care Services, and the balance is for the residences that we will build, outside NCR. So on that note, thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the call. I'll stop here and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Anant from Newport. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the presentation intro so far. My question is, if you look at the business composition, obviously the real estate part is the major part, and the other three parts that you talked about are going to be almost like a startup phase, and the same is reflected in the revenues as well. I consider that it's a very, very bullish space that we're looking at over the next 10 to 20 years, and it can grow very fast. But in the next 3 to 5 years, is it fair to assume that the profits, revenues, and margins and cyclicality will sort of get driven by the real estate part of the business, because the difference in the revenues between the real estate and the care part seems to be so large that it will take at least 5 to 10 years before the care part starts making a meaningful impact. Is that a fair assessment of how one should look at Max India?
No, let me just help you there and ask my colleagues Vaibhav and Ajay to add as well. So particularly for that reason, we had said that the Antara Residences business is part of Antara Senior Living, and Antara Assisted Care Services is a wholly owned subsidiary of Max India. As far as residences is concerned, obviously the revenue and the costs are lumpy, and it takes 4 to 5 years. We have a IRR markup of 17% is our benchmark of what we want to achieve, 20%. However, on the assisted care services, there is a mix of services, which is basically, care at home. The care home, assisted living or memory care, is a real estate enabled product where people come and stay for long term or short term. So in memory care, mostly it is a 1 to 2 year, average length of stay. For care home, it varies between 2 weeks to 3 months to 6 months. So it's not just a service we provide there; it's also enabled by real estate. Obviously, all the services of wellness, physiotherapy, care, etc., are priced in. On the medical equipment side, it's a product-led business. While there are services of after-sales services as well, it's a product-led business. So it's a mix actually, and therefore we are saying that in the next 5 to 6 years, we're outlooking a 500 crore revenue in all these three lines.
Right. No, so let me just understand. Suppose 5 years from now, if we split the business only between the sale of home, right? The Dehradun, Noida kind of business that you are doing. If you split the revenue, say 5 years out between the sale of homes business versus everything else that you're doing in terms of, care at home or home care and stuff, what would be the split if you could just help me understand?
Yeah. So these are all indicative numbers. I can only give you a broad range.
Of course.
So if you look at residences for seniors, we are outlooking a potential to earn about 400 crores cumulative revenues by year 6. And on the other side, as I said, by year 6, about 500 crores. So combined will be about 900 crores.
So Anand, just to answer your question, this is Ajay. So, see, the idea is there are two separate arms. What Rajesh sir wanted to mention, that there are two separate arms. While yes, real estate is a constant thing which is happening, and we have a very streamlined growth trajectory towards that. The assisted care is a very fast replicable item, and that's what the plan is. And that's the reason, if you remember, we have done that. It's an asset-light model. So in a real estate, the turnaround time is approximately 4 to 5 years for one project. There's a JV partner. So while you see that the turnover is very high, the IRRs remain to 17-18% only from a stakeholder's perspective. While the aspiration in care homes, care at homes is that we'll achieve an IRR of approximately 22-23%. And this commodity, this service is so highly replicable that to expand it exponentially is very easy to do. And that's the reason why you will see our 5-year trajectory is 500 crore rupees from assisted care, while my real estate at a steady state will give me 400 crores approximately. So in a short-term basis of 3 to 4, just to answer your question, we see an equal kind of a turnover from both the businesses.
Wow, this is very interesting. I don't think I'd realized this. But so you're basically saying the assisted care part can scale up so fast that in 4 to 5 years, it could actually match the residential portion.
Yeah. Yes, that's the intention.
Yeah, just a one-line feedback on this, because if this is going to happen, this is extremely positive from Max shareholders' point of view, because it actually reduces the cyclicality of the business. And when the cyclicality of a business goes down, I think the valuation would look up in the stock market. So I think a very interesting perspective that you have shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Chaitanya Shah from Aditya Corporation. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good morning, sir. So my question is basically continuing the discussion that we were having on the real estate part. When you say, you're targeting 400 crores of revenue in 4 to 5 years, what I understand is we work as on a DM model, right? So when you say 400 crores, do you mean that you expect to earn 400 crores annually in terms of DM fees, or is it the value of the homes that you envisage to sell?
Please missed the last part. Again, can you repeat? What do we expect?
No, do you expect the value of the apartments that you sell to be 400 crores, or do you expect the fees that you get as a development manager of the project? Because I understand we work on an asset-light model, right? So just wanted to understand, when you say 400 crore, what exactly do you mean by that?
Participants, please stay connected. I'm from Mr. Ajit Mehta Strom. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay connected. So you're reconnected and line is in talk, so you may go ahead.
Yeah. So sorry, the last question we heard was you're talking about the real estate revenue, saying it's a DM model. So what does 400 crore represent? Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
So I think it's a combination of sales realization, our share. So whenever we go into a partnership with a landowner, so our share plus the fee income that we earn on operating the facility, that combination is a 400 crore number.
Okay, all right. When given the response that you're getting in the Noida project, what is your assessment in terms of, and given how the real estate market is also doing right now, what is your assessment in terms of how, quickly you can expand outside of NCR? Just your take on it.
Look, we are quite close to signing up on one more project in NCR, which will happen. And I think in the next 12 to 18 months from now, there should be at least 1 or 2 more projects outside NCR that we will look out for.
But we have a focused geography strategy wherein, as Rajesh explained that, we want to be a one service provider for all the services. So we want to focus geographically expand, and that we always keep in mind once we are going away from NCR.
So what Ajay is meaning is when we look out for residences for seniors outside NCR, we'll also make sure that other businesses, find that geography also conducive to expansion. So we'll expand like an integrated system as we go along.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I also wanted your take on the assisted care business. After the travel, international travel opening up, my assumption is that the medical tourism part will also start kicking in. So do you see for the next 1 or 2 years, do you see the demand sort of going up exponentially? Because, a lot of surgeries would have been put on hold and medical tourism is virtually non-existent even today. So how do you sort of envisage the demand and how quickly can you scale up in the next 2 or 3 years?
This is Vaibhav. I think absolutely agree. The international travel is going to create a lot more positive demand for the care home business. But just to also add, given how the private hospital networks are evolving in the big cities, they also see a lot of drainage from other cities. The domestic medical tourism is also picking up. So the demand for the care home business is not only likely to come from the international tourists or international medical tourism, but also from the domestic medical tourism. Because all of these people require pre and post surgical stay with medical care in the place where they may be staying. What we have done in the last year is, since this is a new category that is being built in India, given the 3 pilot centers that we had run, we are very comfortable in terms of what it takes, how it runs the economics, and we are very confident that we'll be able to scale this model up very quickly in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Anand from Newport. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity again. So my question is a little bit about what I perceive could be a social stigma about care home. Because, I would imagine in an Indian society when, relatives are closer to each other and, everybody in the building is also trying to peek into your house. How does this work in terms of, some family trying to keep their parents away in a care home? Is there some kind of a social stigma around this about, why do you not want to keep your parents at home and take care of them over here, or, either from the relative side or from the neighbor side, all of that, or, typically what is the time frame for which somebody comes and stays in your care home, or what are the kind of profile of people who opt for your care home? I'm just trying to understand the social aspect behind all that.
Yeah.
Sure. So to explain the customer profile for a care home, there are 3 very specific propositions that we have. First proposition that we have is a short stay. Short stay is mostly for people pre and post surgery or for rehabilitation, where they come in for a shorter duration of from 15 to 30 days. The social stigma on a short stay is non-existent, right? Because this is a very demand-driven. People who need it, they need it and they come. And since it's a short stay, we don't see any social stigma on it. The second category for our care homes is memory care homes, which caters very specifically to elders and patients who are suffering from memory-related ailments. In these cases, if you really understand the clinical side of it, after a patient crosses stage 1, they are in stage 2 or stage 3, it is practically impossible in 90% of the cases to manage the patient at home. And this demand itself is increasing significantly. So while there might be a level of stigma, but clinical or the practicality of keeping such patients at home is really low. So we don't even see the stigma part playing out on this part. However, rightfully to your point, there is a third category of our patients, which is long-term patients. These are patients who come into our care home for a period of 3 months to over a year as well. And these are elders who can't be actively managed at home, or they need some level of support. And in this category, we do see social stigma. However, the COVID pandemic over the last 2 years has made it a lot more acceptable in the society, especially in the case where the children are not staying with the parents, maybe in a different city within India or even internationally. So we do see social stigma playing a part on the long-term patients, but given the pandemic, I think it will improve. And from a product perspective, we have ensured that our care homes do not look and feel like a old age home. So even if families come visit and see whether this is suitable for their parents, they do feel extremely comfortable in doing so. So just breaking it down into 3 categories and answering a question on how the social stigma in the society is likely to evolve.
I will just add 2 things to this. It's also a geographical, phenomena. So in the south and west, there's much less stigma. In the north, there could be some. Second interesting, fact I'll give you. We did a survey about 1.5 years back of 3,000 seniors in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi. And to our surprise, we found 77% of the sample size people staying alone, which was not the case a few years back. So the erstwhile or quite essential, joint family system also has broken down. So to some extent, these things are neutralizing what could be a stigma on long stay in North India particularly.
As an experience, what we felt about children who are staying abroad, or the parents who are staying in India, having a substantial good house, but then still they wanted that medical attention and assistance was there, and they actually favored to shift them to the assisted care facility to have the full facility and med care to their parents.
Right. And a similar question for the real estate part of the business, which is Dehradun and Noida and stuff. So what is the profile of your clients there? Is it the children who are staying abroad buy apartments for their parents there, or is it that parents who have done so well in their life, now they have money and therefore they opt to stay into such a facility where all these amenities are available to them?
Yeah. So I think Dehradun profile and the Noida profile are slightly different. Dehradun profile is primarily seniors who have done very well. Most of them, the children are outside the city or out of India, are looking forward to a community where there is no hassle, there's safety, security, and medical services if the need be. So that's the kind of profile. These are people who have been board directors, CEOs, bankers, high net worth individuals on the Dehradun side. On Noida, it's a very interesting profile. It is again people who are between 50 to 60 years of age who are booking the apartments as of now, at this point of time, belong to upper middle class, and are wanting to stay in secure environment post their retirement. So those are kind of profiles in Noida and Dehradun.
And just to statistically help you, in the Noida market, you are aware that it's a 20-80 ratio, wherein 20 is a direct sale and 80 is a broker sale, meaning the investor is more in that 80. Interestingly, in our sales today, as of today, we are having a 50-50 ratio. So 50 is our direct sale, and that clearly means that there are people who want to stay in the community rather than they just want to invest and take the price appreciation benefit. And that, actually accentuates our theory of, seva and the need of the seniors for a good community.
Correct. And sorry, one last question. For this real estate part of the business, is the cyclicality of the general real estate in the sector in India also reflects in how this business works for us, or this is more secular because of the medical angle to it? Because real estate in India was in a slump for the past many years. So I'm just trying to understand whether this business will be similar to the real estate cycle, or it will have its own secular tone to it.
So I can't deny there will be an impact, but there will be other factors as well. For example, as Vaibhav outlined, after COVID, we've seen an acceleration of sales both in Dehradun and in Noida, because people did realize the value of, particularly in Dehradun, of such communities. So while there's an impact, people who genuinely want, safe and secure hassle-free living with healthcare services will look out for such facilities.
Understood. Thank you so much for this.
Welcome.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ankur Jain, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. So my question is, generally cities like Bangalore are more seen as a retirement house or retirement city, right? So, and you have set up this real estate. The main project is in Noida. So, are you also looking to expand in cities like Bangalore, and plus anyhow you have mentioned that the stigma related to such facilities more in north. So whether you have certain plan to move to Bangalore?
So as I said, we have plans to expand in NCR and go outside NCR in the west and the south cluster, which is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune. For Antara assisted care services, in the next 12 to 18 months, definitely we'll find ourselves in one of these cities, and so we'll be in the residential side. So after next 12 to 18 months, we will be in some of these cities as well.
Okay. And I have another question. Maybe I think it is related to last quarter. So I was seeing your finances and find that we paid around 5 crore as severance pay for Max Skill First Limited. And in this quarter, there is an update that we are selling it on slum sale basis for around 500 crore. So, to whom actually we have paid this severance, and then what is the point of selling it at 50 lakh?
Yeah. So Max Skill First had many verticals. It was basically a learning and development organization serving captive audiences in terms of training needs particularly for sales and service. And it had a small vertical of allied healthcare services where they were doing diploma courses for X-ray technicians, phlebotomists, etc. The company got wound down because, as the organizations they were serving started to go big, there were also some concerns raised by regulators on related party transactions. So we took a view to close down the organization. Therefore, there were some people whom we could not absorb. Otherwise, others went to the clients. For example, when serving Max Life, Max Healthcare, all the trainers went to those accounts. There were 5, 6, 7, 8 people left for whom we paid the severance. The allied healthcare diploma course, which is about 1,200 students, is the one that is being sold to Max Healthcare. Now that was a very small fee-based model, and therefore the value 50 lakhs is appropriate for it. It's only a very small part of the Max Skills First. So that is what is going to Max Healthcare now. Otherwise, the rest has been wound down, and therefore severance was paid to people for whom we couldn't find appropriate opportunities.
So the segment what we have sold, how much was the annual revenue?
I don't recall, very small, so about 200 students, and there are hardly a few.
Oh, okay. And what I find is 5 crore of severance pay, it is a very large chunk of your employee benefit expense for a quarter. And generally, any severance pay, any company will be 2 to 3 months salary. So whether these were senior people where we paid 1 year or, similar amount to them, or it is just 2 or 3 months salary?
No, they were very senior people who have been with the group for over 16, 17 years. There were 6 or 7 of them, and therefore the amount was what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Including the CEO of the business.
Okay, got it. Thank you. This is what from my side.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you very much for all your questions. As I said, Antara has truly taken a bet on a sector which is fast evolving, very large market size, changing Indian demographics, and needs. And across the verticals of independent living or residences for seniors, Antara Assisted Care Services comprising care at home, medical equipment. And as you can see from the results we are tabling, it's been a very healthy growth. The bets are playing out, whether it is sales and collections in Noida or Dehradun, or is the revenue growth in assisted living, memory care, medical equipment, or care at home. Aggressive plans to expand in the future across, 3 clusters of NCR, West and South. And just to end, our promise of capital reduction stands, and by the end of this year, we'll have, met that promise as well. So thank you very much for your questions, for attending the call, and look forward to your ongoing support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Max India Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.